G'day guys, and thanks for joining me on another Aussie DOS gear review and modification sometimes. Today we're going to be talking about this. Right, some of you might know what this is. We've used it in a video before. I'm busting it back out to do a proper review on it because there was a few things I liked and disliked about this that you should definitely know before you buy them. Now let's get this thing out of the bag and take a look at it. Right, some of you might have seen these before. This is a small collapsible stove. I'll set it up so we can have a look at it together. Right, now that's all the pieces there. It should be a simple matter of putting it all together. So first this piece, and then our little fuel tray sits in the bottom. It sits in there. Make sure it's all the way down, and that sits on top, and you can have those folded out. And it comes with this little grill on top, which is pretty much useless unless you're heating up a cup of coffee, which maybe who knows. Now don't get me wrong, I think this is a good bit of kit for the 20 or 30 bucks they run up. Maybe they're 40, I don't know. I'll throw it down the bottom. But the main issue I have with this is it doesn't seem to work well with the kind of wood we have in the Australian bush. Probably sweet for the softer woods of America and Europe, but for the hard gum and iron bark that we have growing out here in our natural forests, it gets that hot. And the way this works, as it sucks air in the bottom and then up these flutes in the side, and the air comes out the top. Forced induction or even Venturi effect, pulling the air through, making it burn hotter and harder, which is awesome if you've got heaps of little bits of pine to throw in there. But throwing in gum or any sort of Australian hardwood, I found it just gets that hot. It burns that quick, you don't have time to cook anything. Whenever I've put something on here, it instantly goes to the boil and then burns all the fuel out within a couple of minutes, and then you've got to lift your pot or your pan off to put more stuff in, and by then it's really died down. Essentially what I'm saying is you've got to keep pumping fuel into this thing, and it's just not a very good system for that. I think this would be really good if you had some charcoal beads. I don't have any to show you, but I'm sure you know what they look like, or some cut up pine, which I do have right here. Now this has conveniently been cut into cubes with my saw, but if you try and burn sticks. Now another one of the big issues is with this stove, it's almost impossible to light with just twigs. You really need a firelighter of some kind to be able to drop it down in there, because trying to get in here, even with this off, with a lighter, you just end up burning your fingers. You sort of got to start a fire and then drop it in, or you could try and start it with this little tray and drop it in, but as you can see, mine's sort of jammed in there already. And yeah, before you go asking, I've burned my fingers on this thing plenty of times. Essentially this thing's double skinned. It's got holes at the bottom and these holes at the top. As we know, hot air rises, so it sucks the cooler air in from underneath and then pumps it out of the top, which in turn draws air through the fire tray and focuses those flames towards the center, as you can see here. It does work, it is a good bit of kit, but you need some solid fuel sources like this to be able to get it to go for any sort of sustained burn. Like if you're going to cook on it, you're probably going to need to find some big limbs and cut them up with your saw, because using an axe to get this kind of solid small timber, it's just not going to work for you. Let me know if you've had any experience with these, any better luck than I've had. I'll definitely take this out on a few more trips and give it a few more goes, especially now that I've got the Silky. We'll be able to cut up some solid fuel for it, and maybe it'll be better. I'll certainly take it with me this winter and we'll have a look at it then. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.